Good afternoon from Yami B TV. Wishing you all well today. Hope your weekend's going to go the best it possibly can, and sending loads of love out to all of you. Yep, a couple of questions keep coming up. I felt the need to answer the Michael Stone one this afternoon. Shelling from down there in West Drayton. There's another lady as well who in Belfield from that way, and explained them properly and described the feelings there very well. You asked me the other day, one of you, Yami, would you be able to know a psychopath and an evil man just by seeing him and just being in their presence? I'm telling you that I believe 95% that I will know evilness when I see it. I was bad, some wicked things and in that environment inside. I hold my hands up to that, but we're talking on a different level now. We're talking about Belfield, war boys, and turning to God and things like that. I'm going to get round to this in a minute, but let's skip with Michael Stone. So I met him in the early days. He was in the Sea Cats in the early days, the Waylands, the Camp Hills, blah 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 blah. Didn't spend a lot of time with him, right? There was something with him. It's well known with me and him, but it wasn't nothing to write home about. If you get what I mean. But when I look back now, you're asking me the question now. I have to admit that I sat on the fence in judgment of his guilt based on what I was seeing on telly, more wrapped up in the emotion of what Megan and Josie, and the rehabilitation that she went through and that kind of stuff is stuck with me. So I got more involved with what happened to them rather than who actually did it. So like a lot of people during that time, I kind of written off and blah blah blah. But also as well, having you lot ask me about the questions about psychopaths and evilness and absolute ugliness, of the highest order. We know about the man bad sad theory. I say it all the time. But with Michael Stone, I couldn't see it. You can't, in your mind, when you look into it, you're thinking, but how does a man, like you said, go through that of nicking small bits of money to go and get? I can't see how his character could have fitted that. And in later life, I'm backtracking because I realised I sat on the fence for the wrong reasons. You see what I mean? No matter what me and him had way back in the day, that fisticuff and whatever, it wasn't nothing much to write home about. And basically, it's that if I'm wrong, we all get it wrong sometimes, but I just can't see it in later life. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, but because of the people that I've been in front of, if you just get that sixth sense, and then you investigate, then you look at the facts, then you know that they did it. Some like Belfield and War Boys and that kind of thing, and obviously when you're in prison you watch a lot of news, Madeleine McCann, you're used to feeling emotional that these things take place around the world, and it's always hurtful when you see a little face, and it hurts you a little bit, and you think you wish you would have been there, you could catch it, because you think of some funny things in prison. I'll tell you that, I used to fantasize about going looking for Madeleine's thing. I wish that kind of thing. I remember watching Taxi Driver and Robert De Niro. All right, it's a bit filmy, but yeah. Sorry. So that's just one of those things that was kind of hurtful, which we all know is going to hurt the majority of people, human beings. Josie was one of them as well. But I've got to say, I think I'm beginning to think it was a proper movie with Michael Stone. Right, I can't see it. I can't be around too many people. I told you that I can smell the presence of evilness and wickedness and characters and blah blah blah. But I'll backtrack on what I thought in them early years there. And remember, I heard about the thing with, I think one of you mentioned Jennings, because I think the confession through the wall was in Parkhurst, but I wasn't there. But or one is named Brian Barry something like that. And I remember hearing about it later on, of course, and that there's been a few convictions from the cell next door, confession, or out the window, because we used to call that scraping the barrel by the old bill, when there's nothing else, not enough evidence to go with what they've got to get a conviction. they would send someone in there to go and do that. It's happened to some serious cases as well. Maybe a lot of you don't know either, but I know. Levi Belfield, but you know I don't like him, right? The reason why, all right, he didn't want to. He was scared to come on the location first, right? When he first got, he was down the block. I can remember having a conversation, and I remember a brother, you know, a brother talking to out the window. Anyone can be forgiven. Brothers, you know, the brothers are very forgiving and loving, and you know, believing anybody's not beyond redemption, which in faith and that is meant to be the thing. I can't be saying, standing up here today, saying to you that I'm God fearing. I am, but I can't see. I will pass judgment seriously that he got told to come up, go to the mosque, go and join the faith, and he'll be the protection will be there. He only used it for that reason, which is why the incident took place with me outside the mosque that day. There's a couple of bits of people saying that I shouldn't have done it in the mosque or blah blah blah. I didn't do it because I did it outside in front of the screws because he was going down to a different wing. He was segged off somewhere. He wasn't even on like proper location like that. So that you're allowed to go up to the mosque from whatever place you're in within that prison. It's your right. And he was absolutely evil. And Shelling, Mickey E. Mitch, you know, did the same thing. You know, and another person from West Drayton as well also knew, smelt it, knew it. Everybody that ever came into contact with him felt like I did. So I think I without hearing all that from outside, as soon as I saw the geezer, and plus the crimes as well, you know, it kind of resonated with me. He's a horrible, evil man, and do I need to explain that any more about him? Really, you know, he just tried that. War Boys tried that with with the Father in heaven thing. You know, you saying, oh yeah, I'm all right, I'm fixed now, blah blah blah, and call on his name so that you can get released or you get an easier time in prison, you know, that kind of thing. But no forgiveness from me for any of that, and I think warped minds of serial stuff and a cowardice, you know, on a regular basis, on vulnerabilities of the weak that can't defend themselves, you know, albeit my behaviour in prison was bad, and you know I was mixing it up with criminals, higher up criminals, and some of my crimes I've frightened people. I have to accept that as well, but actually going over the top, evilness, unnecessary violence, you know, the weak and the vulnerable, you know, what kind of hatred are you holding there? I can't see how that can be cured, and I've got no faith in that whatsoever with some of them, and that's with all of us. I think a lot of us realise that as well. It's just when they're weak and vulnerable, when they realise they're up against it and they've got to face the real rest of the killers in there who didn't do what they do but did something bad enough, but detest what they done, and make their crimes look a bit more less kind of thing, but really rightfully so. But you know, for all of it, you know, in that life, I can only say that I will be able to spot evil when it's in front of me. Trust me. It's just either, you know, I've explained to you how I used to deal with it in there when they used to do their kind of funny stuff another time. What was the other bit I had to tell you? Oh, happy Eid to my little brother Mujahid, right? Mujahid. Yeah. He's been away a number of years, just like my mate Ovi. The cat A's as a youngster, and in mental health, and he's getting ready to come home soon. But I love you very much, my little brother, and I'm looking forward to your release. And I'll chat to you very soon. Anything else? No. I'm on another journey today. Feeling much happier with myself, and coming up later on as well for another delivery. All right. Sending love. Love you all very much, and see you soon.